On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt's system crashes more times than the Falcon's hyperdrive has failed, but the dudes press through as they discuss things to do during the lockdown, as well as the galaxy's latest Star Wars news and rumors, which included the reveal of a few High Republic Jedi characters and a breakdown of the latest episode of The Clone Wars. They also riff on a few Kenobi stories, including its new writer and delay. Finally, after the 50th restart, the guys wrap with the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week, plus one. Cue the music, please. Woo! Speak to me. Speak to me, Force. Let's go. Everybody, and welcome back to week 4. That's right, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of the Star Wars Time Show COVID-19 lockdown cast. It's Matt, it's Nick. We're back. We're still locked down, and at least one of us is getting stir crazy at this point in time, and that is me. That's right, folks. We don't have to start with a therapy session for Nick this week. Things still aren't progressing the way he would like in life.
Nope.
But the Force threw him a few assists at the end of last week to where he was able to not want to jump in front of a moving train. So that is good news. Nick is he even sounds much more positive this week. I myself don't feel like throwing myself in front of a train after talking to him for 10 minutes before we went live. So it's not perfect, right, Nick? Like, you're not, you're always going to be more positive than me, but I do think you feel a little bit better this week than you did last week.
Yeah, I mean, basically some of the uncertainty around whether I'm going to be able to
have a
move
house
into my house and
not be homeless.
Yeah, just not be a complete degenerate, and at least my temporary job situation for now. So I know that, I mean, at least as of right now, this very second, we're closing on our house on the 9th. We have movers scheduled for the 11th. So by this time next week, I know I've said this before, by this time next week, Nick should be doing the Star Wars Time Show from his brand new abode, his brand new home.
There we go. You know what that means? Once Nick has his SWTS HQ set up in his home like I do, we're going to start thinking about and possibly pursuing a different type of broadcast, meaning we're either going to record ourselves live, little interaction while we still do the show, maybe bring fans in, that type of shit. We got to figure out the logistics, or at least have a different video presentation once he gets more of a setup / studio and has some shit behind him, this, that, and the other thing. So I've been researching it, Nick. I know it's kind of been my angle just based on some of the feedback we've got. But Nick's always said once he gets in the house, we'll start thinking about possibly either doing a live version of the show, meaning as what we're doing now, you would actually be witnessing if you wanted to versus listening to it later, potentially on like YouTube Live, something like that. But like I said, a lot of shit to figure out. Some of the tech I got to iron out. There's shit out there. There's guides. But honestly, at this point in my life, especially when it comes to technology, I don't fucking feel like reading about it anymore or doing it.
Tough,
I just want to start paying people to do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it would be easy enough to do if we were in the same area, like if we were in the same room. But considering we're in different states and we're basically feeding in 2 video feeds.
Yeah, I mean,
one live stream.
You're 100% right. And YouTube via Google, I mean, the documentation's out there. It probably takes some OBS trickery, this, that, and the other thing. And I know it's something I could figure out. I mean, hell, tech is my life. I teach it. I used to work in it. But I think other people that have lived in IT, Nick, I don't know if that's true for you, but when you kind of live in it and you work in it and you're around it all the time, the last fucking thing you want to do is troubleshoot the shit in your own home for yourself or for your family members. It's like when the internet goes out at my house, I basically want to stab an ice pick into my eye.
Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that or anything related to my actual job that I get paid to do when I'm at home. So,
I guess what we're saying anyone out there that likes doing this shit for free or knows how to do it, we'll add you on the goddamn Star Wars Time Show team. You can become intern too. Just, help us out with this type of shit.
You can be the Jamie as Joe Rogan has on his podcast. You can be the IT director.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I want that soundboard like I've talked before, and I want Nick and I to be able to do some sort of live show, not necessarily with call-ins, because I don't want you idiots calling in.
Yeah.
But more, maybe you could have a live chat. There'd be questions popping up. Nick and I could possibly riff on that during the top 5 segment or whatever. I think it'd be fun. I'm not promising it's going to happen anytime soon. You have to understand, we are the Star Wars Time Show. We are the land of broken promises, right? That's all we do. Our mantra in 2020 was to have an interview every month. Guess what? We've already fucked that up. So that's just kind of how we roll. We have big ideas. We just don't have ways to execute them because we're assholes.
Yeah.
But as you heard, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about these days in Star Wars land, and that's because comics have been put on hold for those of you that can't get physical copies, so us digital. So there is the first failure of Matt's mic. Don't worry, there are more. And we're back due to technical difficulties. Yes, some COVID-19 just ate my microphone. I don't know what the fuck happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But as we were talking about, we were kind of talking about how there is it seems like this week 4 of the lockdown, Nick, is where most news that we'd be getting on Star Wars productions, comics, movies, this, that, and the other thing has kind of dried up a bit. So before we get into those topics you heard that dumbass announcer discuss, we just wanted to kind of riff on a few things we've been doing in lockdown, maybe give you some ideas or thoughts on things to avoid in terms of new series to stream, movies to check out, games to play, and like I said, shit that you should avoid like COVID-19. So one, to me, Nick, I think the greatest thing or the greatest series I have found so far during lockdown, and this one was shared to me by the stunt buddy.
Okay.
But apparently this show started on Sci-Fi. It's called Happy.
Okay, yeah, I actually read that graphic novel. I haven't watched the series yet, but I have heard of it.
Okay, so this is actually based on something?
Yeah. So it's based off a graphic novel that I actually read that 4 or 5 years ago. I was at a friend's house and he had it, and he was just like, "You should just read this." It was pretty short, and I don't know if I only read a specific section of it or if I read the whole thing, but it was pretty short. I read the whole thing. And I was like, "Holy shit, this was actually pretty good." It's about this blue fucking animal that this psycho guy can see in his head, and yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So this could be the greatest TV series of all time.
Okay.
And I was unaware of it, blissfully unaware of it. My buddy's like, dude, just check out Happy, second season, hit Netflix. But apparently this is a sci-fi show, and I'm just like, holy shit. They put this on Sci-Fi. That's how fucking over the top, vulgar, violent it is. I mean, think The Boys.
Yeah.
But possibly even more over the top in terms of the comedy. It's a very dark comedy. But it's right. So you got this guy, Nick Sachs. He's the lead character. He's a former New York detective, but now he's kind of shady. He's kind of a hitman. Something happens, and he's able to see this little blue donkey unicorn looking thing called Happy.
Yep.
And Happy is telling him that he needs to go save this little girl, who we eventually find out there's some ties between everybody. But I'm just in the first season now. I think I'm through the 5 of 8 episodes. And Nick, I'm telling you, right, it is some of the most demented, fucked up shit I've ever seen, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is entertaining, and it is overly violent. I mean, it's everything a fucked up person like me could want in a TV series.
Yeah. It's from having read the graphic novel, it doesn't surprise me that that's the direction it went, because it was when I was reading it, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So it's not surprising that they went that direction with the TV show. In the show, who's the main guy? Like, is it like a noticeable actor?
Oh
Like, is
yeah,
it
it's
someone-
Christopher Maloney.
Okay, I
fucking
thought it
Casey
was.
Jones, Law and Order. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that guy. I've loved that guy since he was Casey Jones in the original TMNT.
Yeah. So okay, I
He's
thought it
perfect.
Was Maloney.
Like the way the guy acts the character is just fuck it. Like he nails the humor. He nails the physical aspect. He just looks like a mess of a human. I mean, like the episode 5, he was talking to his ex-wife, and then like these axe murderers come in and they have an axe fight. Like this is the type of show and action and gore I'm talking about. Like it is the opening minute is all you need to watch to go like, okay, this shit is far out, fucked up, and right up my alley.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I would enjoy.
So there's 2 seasons now on Netflix. I'm assuming like it's one of those shows where once the season airs on its network, it then shows up on Netflix, so you don't have to watch commercials or whatnot. But I believe at this point in time you have at least 16 episodes to watch. I'm 5 deep, and it has been well worth my time.
Okay, yeah, that's a good call. I mean, for me, we haven't really started watching any new series yet. Taylor's not a huge fan of TV and, movies or anything like that. So
you're on a screen time limitation like a child, Nick?
not necessarily.
Nick's
just,
like in the corner. Can I please have the iPad?
It's just that, she's just not as excited to watch like TV or new content as I would be. So like we started rewatching a series that she likes called Skins. It's like a BBC, like kind of like a college drama / comedy. Started watching that. She's a fan. I had never seen it. We're rewatching 30 Rock slowly because that's one of the TV shows that she actually enjoyed when we watched it.
What streamer is that on? Because that's a show I never watched, and recently I've been going back and watching old sitcoms I skipped, like Parks and Rec and Office. So, where's that one?
30 Rock's on Hulu,
Okay.
so you can get the full gamut.
Yeah, because I do want to check that out, and I've heard The Good Place is supposed to be pretty.
Good Place is actually really really good,
and that's
yeah.
on Netflix.
That's so they have most of it on Netflix except for the last season. The last season I think is still in play, like it's still live maybe, but yeah, that's well worth watching, and it's only 4 or 5 seasons, so it's not that many. So we're watching that. I mean, we watch movies every now and then, so we watched the live action Aladdin movie.
It's not that bad.
It is. It's pretty good.
It's really not that bad. Like when you hear that Guy Ritchie was the guy that made it, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I
'cause
saw that.
I love Guy Ritchie. Like The Gentleman. That's another recommendation. It released early. You can buy it for I think $14.99 or whatever. Fantastic vintage Guy Ritchie, like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels type of shit.
Yeah,
but Aladdin isn't bad. It really isn't.
I mean, we had seen the live action Lion King, which I know is just like an updated. It's not live action because it's not real lions.
Right.
But Taylor was not a fan of that because she was just like, oh well, it's just the same thing. It's not like Disney animation. It's like this new, CGI realistic animation. She wasn't a huge fan. I thought it was good. I was like, you know what? It introduces kids to that story in an interesting way. So, but she was like into the new Aladdin, and so was I. Because in that movie, there was significant updates to the character of Jasmine. Like they portray Jasmine in a different way than they did in the cartoons, and that was pretty cool.
I like some of the music too. Like I know some of
Yeah.
it was faithful, but they twisted some of it up. Hey, in the end, Will Smith looked a little fucked up as a blue genie, but I also thought he was a good genie overall.
Yeah, I like how they let him have. They let him inject his own personality into it. They didn't basically make him play Robin Williams.
Right.
So that was a good move. And then other than that, I mean, the problem right now with us is that because we thought we were moving so long ago.
Oh, yeah. You
like,
probably canceled shit or have shit packed up.
More than half of our shit is packed. So, like, I would be taking time to, like, show Taylor Firefly. That's like one of my favorite TV series, but it's packed, like my Blu-rays are packed up in a box, and I don't want to like go and rip through shit just to get it out when I know we're moving in 5 days. You know, there's book, like I could have continued reading the Thrawn books, but those are packed up. I have the Resistance Reborn book, that's packed up. My visual dictionary for Tross is packed up. So like basically here's what our living situation is now. We ordered a king size mattress to be delivered to the house when we were moving in the last time. Well, we had to switch that up. So now we're sleeping on a king size mattress on the floor of our bedroom, and we have our regular queen size mattress and full bed set. Like our queen size mattress is laid up against the wall in our bedroom. Our box spring for that is literally wedged into the hallway of this apartment.
Oh yeah. You guys are like full on dorm living at this point.
Yeah,
you're like dorms on move-in day.
Yeah, more than half of my clothes are packed up. So if I wear underwear for 4 days in a row, I have to wash clothes. So
Nick has a itchy itchy asshole right now, is what he's trying to say.
And just to like kick myself in the nuts even farther, like, yeah, things have turned around in terms of like, I know that, you know, my current job situation is not going to affect us getting into the house. So we're still going to be able to move in. I have a contract signed to do some work for, you know, clients, doing some advertising for them. It's not making nearly as much money as I was at my previous job, but at least it's some income over this period of time. So that's good. But so what was really the kick in the balls was, so, you know, Taylor and I are laying on the couch where it was like right after we had woken up, and I was throwing a ball with my puppy. Like she was, you know, just throwing a ball around. So one time I like picked it up with my left hand and I threw it, and it's like a light ball. It's not a heavy, meaty ball. I threw it with my left hand and it hits.
Those are that's how people describe my balls.
Yeah,
heavy,
very light,
meaty.
very airy, easy
Heavy
to
and
manage. But I threw the ball and it hits my 55-inch Samsung TV. And the TV is off. And I was like, oh, it's no big deal. It's a super, like literally the
dude,
ball
you didn't tell me this. What the fuck did you do?
Yeah, no, I didn't tell you this. The ball is hollow. Like it's literally like, it looks like one of those lattice balls that you can like open and shut with your hands.
Yeah.
So I just, I didn't even throw it hard. I just like tossed it with my left hand. It hits the top corner of the TV. I'm like, oh, no big deal. Like it didn't even make that big of a sound. So probably an hour or two later, I turned the TV on. The whole screen is cracked. The whole motherfucker is cracked.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead serious. So my 55-inch Samsung Smart 4K UHD HDR TV is busted.
And you just got that recently, right?
Less than a year ago. So I called.
So you're fucked either way unless you did like the Best Buy black tie bullshit or whatever.
You know I didn't do that. So I called a repair shop. And I told them, I was like, hey, the screen is, and apparently they're still open. I don't know how these fucking TV repair
it's essential, man. We need our fucking TVs.
Yeah. So I called them and I was like, hey, you know, I was wondering if you guys are still open or y'all still doing repairs. And he's like, yep, we're open. What do you got? I was like, okay, so I have a 55-inch Samsung TV and the screen is cracked. It's broken. Like it's still, like the TV still comes on, but basically the entire right side of the TV, the top right quadrant is, it's completely not visible. And then there's lines going across the whole TV. He's like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Fixing a screen on a TV like that costs 2/3 of the value of the TV.
Yeah, you might as well just buy a new one.
So that's what he's like. He's like, look, we could fix it, but I'll tell you this: it's a $35 diagnostic fee for us to just look at it, and then we have to see how much it would cost to actually repair it. So I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, dude.
But here's the deal.
Just as I was saying, you had a slightly few better days, and now you dropped that bomb on me.
Yeah, I know. It's a real.
It's like because I've destroyed a TV of mine too, not from playing with a dog, from being a fucking jerk off playing video games and getting mad.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the worst feelings when you realize that you've broken something expensive.
Oh, dude, it was like for 2 hours. I was like, how the fuck? Like,
Oh, it's
I was
the
like, I
worst,
looked at this
dude.
ball and I'm like, I could literally take this ball and just crush it in my hands if I wanted to.
Oh my
And, like-
God, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
And like that thing hit a TV and broke it. So
Yeah. 2020 is not your year.
it's
dude.
not. This year is a motherfucker.
Yeah,
and I hate
we
it.
need to get Nick on the 2021 because that type of shit only happens to people that are cursed at this
Yeah.
point. That's like,
So
oh hey Nick, you don't have a job, you're not getting in your house, and here's the final kick in the dick. Your fucking TV's broken now.
yeah. So luckily, we already had Well, I had a TV, like an older, like this is like a 2015, like 4K.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Vizio
That's like
TV.
going all the way back to CRT monitors.
Yeah, I know, right? It was like the first version of 4K TVs that came out from Vizio that didn't have HDR. So I had that. It's a 50-inch. It was just sitting in the bedroom, wasn't plugged in. So luckily I had that to just replace the current TV with. And we had already bought we have like a nice Samsung frame TV that Taylor wanted to go into the house. So we have TVs to move into the house with. So it's not a big deal. So I replaced the TV. I'm going to junk the old. I'm just going to fucking throw the Samsung one away because it's fucked. And I went online and I ordered.
If you do that, record a video of you like going outside and at least teeing off on it with like a fucking sledgehammer or light it on fire.
So I might have to do that.
Or just like at least have Taylor or something throw it out the window while you record it or some shit. I don't know if you're like on the third floor, second floor, or first, but just you gotta somehow get even with the TV is what I'm saying.
I know
Even though it was your fault, now it's the TV's fault for
Yeah.
making you pissed off. So you need to fuck that TV up.
I might have to do that because
Don't let a trash picker get that TV and repair is what I'm saying. Fucking destroy that thing.
Yeah. So
It'll be good for you. I think
Oh,
you
man,
need
I
more
might
moments like me where you just kind of exercise your demons and just
Yeah,
fucking
just-
yell and scream and throw little bitch-ass action figures against concrete walls. It's good for you, man.
it
I'm
might
telling
be.
you.
I might need to do that.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I did envision this segment to be positive and things you could do, but Nick, man, he's just like he lives in darkness these days. A few other recommendations, and I promise you, we will get onto some Star Wars stuff. But Picard, you can watch the whole series for free right now on CBS All Access. I highly recommend it. They have a code. I think it's literally just called free. If you use it before April 23rd, you get 1 month free, which basically means, oh, yeah, I'm going to sign up, but then you just cancel so you can watch the whole first season of Picard for free right now as long as you take advantage before April 23rd. And the series has been just excellent. Little more adult Star Trek, I guess. You know, some decapitations, some TVMA type of violence, so I've been digging that. Westworld's been great, season 3. New movies, Onward, I highly recommend for anyone, especially someone that had a parent die when they were young. Not that that was me, but I know other people out there that have that situation. Trust me, it'll kick you in the balls. And Sonic the Hedgehog is a good movie. Don't let the wonky first CGI Sonic dissuade you from checking that out. It's actually a pretty good movie. Jim Carrey is an all-star. Bad movies, Nick, don't buy Bloodshot.
I heard that was probably not good.
It is,
I heard that.
and I like dumb shit, right? Like, I mean, I love cinema. You know, give me a vape or something, I'll watch whatever. Bloodshot, I could hardly get through, and I think I was drunk. Everything, it's just not good. All I remember when I first turned it on is I texted the stunt buddy. I said, "Whose dick did Vin Diesel suck in Hollywood all those years ago? Because there's no reason that man should have the career that he has. No reason." And he told me, he's like, "Oh, dude, it's Spielberg." Because, I mean, I guess Vin, like, wrote, starred, and directed his own thing, and that kind of caught the eyes of Steve, and then Steve put him in Saving Private Ryan, and there you go. Once you have that as a credit, you're pretty much on like popcorn. So skip that, and then video games, I finally bit the bullet, and I know it's a waste of money. I got AC New Leaf.
Okay, there we go.
All I've done is downloaded it, and that's why I know it's a waste of money, because I literally paid $60 to download the game and look at its icon on my Switch screen. That's all I've done so far. Because The last game I want to mention, coming out Friday, I had to pre-order. Haven't pre-ordered a video game in over 10 years. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I want to get in on that for sure. Like, that's something that I need to play.
Yeah, so downloads, I think you can start downloading it now if you pre-order it on your PS4. But, I mean, that's kind of what I got for you for some COVID-19 stuff to fuck with if you're looking for certain things. So, Happy and Picard, Westworld in terms of TV, Onward, Sonic for movies, especially if you have kids, AC New Leaf, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Avoid Bloodshot.
Yeah, so for me... Really,
don't throw balls at your TV.
Don't accidentally hit your TV with a fucking little bitty ball because it'll break it. So I haven't played too many video games. I turned on my PC. I played a little bit of League of Legends with one of my friends. I played some Hearthstone, the card game that Blizzard has, for a little bit. You know, just some basic stuff. Been playing a lot of Swago. I have 130,000 or 130K JKR squad that I'm doing pretty well in arena with, and you know.
Oh yeah, I mean Swago. Come on, man.
Yeah, Swago is like.
I've become a senpai of sorts for my 8-year-old nephew on the game.
Nice. So he's like taking some suggestions.
Every day, dude, because you know how I don't know if you have any younger kids, nephews, or whatever in the family, but Facebook has opened up Messenger for kids.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is probably dangerous as fuck, but whatever, everyone's bored. So, you know, he hits me up on Messenger every day now. Almost got Phasma. Working on this guy. I'm like, hey man, you got to start focusing, right? You got to focus.
Yeah.
Follow the journey guide. Don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah, you got to tell. Yeah, that's the key now.
Got to focus. Like, trust me, I want to be doing this, that, and the other thing, but I've got to stay committed to my gas tunes. And I'm not talking about some sort of gut disorder. I'm talking about General Anakin Skywalker and all the fuckers you need to get him. So, anyways.
Yeah, dude, it's like my current farm is C-3PO because I put him off for way too long.
All right, so you're fucking with Ewoks then, right?
Yeah, so I'm fucking with Ewoks. I got 3 7 stars. I'm working on the last 2. I have those 2 at 6 stars, so I'm getting there. And then other than that, I mean that's basically my main farm. It's just Ewoks right now. My arena rank is hovering in the mid 70s. With
you
my JKR squad.
Cunt.
Yeah, my shard.
Cunt. You're such an asshole in your weak ass shards.
I know, my shard is pretty weak, so like
I've got a fairly fast Revan squad, and I have to battle all 5 battles every day just to stay in the 100 to 200 payout range.
Oh my god.
Well, dude, my whole shard, everyone is fucking full Relic 7 gas squads at this point.
Oh yeah, you're in a death you're in a
it's
death
ridiculous.
shard. Like
I mean, ships has gotten a little bit better now that I have the 7-star negotiator, so I have a full fleet to bring in with Kenobi and the ETA-2, but even then negotiator mirror matches are so fucking dice rolly.
Yeah,
I'm lucky to get top 20 and just get 100 payouts. So, but I still love the fucking game, man. I mean, say what you will, I've been going almost 5 years straight now, playing it every single fucking day. I've probably spent $200 over that 5 years, but it's something I still look forward to. I still look forward to the grind, the nonsense, the gearing, the relics.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm glad that it's there because it allows me to not like completely consume myself with something like, like an online game, like playing League of Legends nonstop or some shit like that. So
it's a great game to start, right? Like grab a bunch of friends, all sign in now and start it at the same level and kind of work through it that way. That's the best way to play it. When you're playing with other people, not that you ever really play live, it just makes it a little more fun to share information, who you're working on, this, that, and the other things. So.
Yeah, and like give people updates on like what's working for you in certain areas. I mean, the journey guide, like you mentioned, that's a game changer because that completely changed how you farm. That completely changed how you unlock in this game. Because previously it was like every 2 months or every 3 months you would get like, okay, fucking Darth Revan unlock is coming up, so I have to have everything ready by this date. Now you can just farm on your own time. You see exactly what you need. Like, it's all built into the game for you in a very easy way. So if you're just starting to play, now's the time, because ton of content, a lot of, a lot easier to track what you need and what you need to unlock.
Trust me, you're going to come across a lot of negative people on Sugo because in the end, people, it's fucking free to play. Of course, they're going to build in paywalls to keep the studio up and running, to keep the game going. Right?
Yeah. So
you either just be patient and suffer through the slog and get characters a year after people that pay, or you fucking pay the big bucks.
Yeah, you pay the money, and then for
that's
those
any F2P. So don't get all angry because EA has a hand in Swago. Swago is awesome. There's been so many fucking clones of it. Strike Force is a clone. Nick, I don't know if you saw, I think it came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's literally a Disney character version
Sorcerer's
of this
Arena.
Game,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that.
It is the same fucking game, but now you collect Mickeys and Goofies and shit instead of fucking, Kanans and Ezras and Heras.
Yeah, it's a very successful game model, and Swago's the first one to do it, at least to my knowledge. I don't know of any other game
to the level of addictiveness that Swago has. Yes, I mean they. Many people have ripped off what Capital did with Swago, and I don't know if their properties will last as long as this one's going. Like I said, I think it'll be 5 years this November. That's pretty long for a free-to-play kind of action RPG-ish deal.
Yeah, so get on that, and then other games, I mean, KOTOR is going to be one that I probably revisit again because of all the time. I mean, I'm well into a playthrough on my PC, so it makes sense for me to finish that. And then I also started playing Assassin's Creed Origins, the one that's set in Egypt, like a couple of months ago. So I may revisit
I've been
that
wanting
as well.
to. I have. That's another one in the log here. So
yeah, but once Final Fantasy VII comes out, like that's definitely going to be something to suck up some time. And apparently, it is like it's like a long game. It's if you played the original one, it's long, and if you've played Final Fantasy games at all, not necessarily 7, that they're games that take you 50 plus hours to finish.
Now, did they stick with their original model with this, where is going to be kind of episodic?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's just a full deal at this point.
Yeah, from what I've seen on reviews and early.
Yeah, it seems like this is it.
It's the whole shebang,
and it's getting very positively stroked, if you will, in the review circuit right now.
Yeah, so that's something.
Dude, I had to get that. I've beaten Final Fantasy VII probably 10 times on 10 different platforms.
Look at that. Yeah,
but there's a reason for that. I was 17 when that game came out, PlayStation 1, 1997, and there was nothing like it up until then. These days, games like that are a dime a dozen. Story, a cinematic presentation, a video game, that was all brand new. They were all little polygon characters, but when Aerith gets taken out, I mean, that shit fucking leveled me as a 17-year-old, and I was much more of a meathead even back then, like football, fucking tough guy, and that shit affected me like a video game had never affected me, and from that moment on, Final Fantasy VII has been probably my favorite game in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best. I mean, it's probably the best Final Fantasy.
Oh, hands down. It's not even close.
The first game that really hit me like that in terms of, my cat is chewing on a little cord right now for our blinds, and I want to make sure she doesn't break it. But the first one that was like that for me, and I think it's because of our age gap. I mean, I know that we're not quite 10 years apart, but it's close.
Oh, in video games, it might as well be decades.
Yeah, it's completely, that amount of time is so significant. The first one for me was Final Fantasy X. And to me, that one, it was right around that age that you talked about, 16, 17 when it came out. And then I played
that's the one with
Yuna and Titus and
Yeah, Titus.
yeah, all of
I
them.
never finished that one. Like I've always gotten almost all the way to the end, and I've just never.
It was just there's so much. It was the first game that like I maxed out in terms of like there's like in games they have time trackers on there and it tells you how long you played it. And like I played that game for over 100 hours.
Yeah.
There's so much to do in it. Like there's so much extra content. Like
I know. I always remember 7 having, to me, the best story. The whole deal with Cloud, Sephiroth, what's real, what's not, Genova, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I think 10 also had an interesting one, but it was fucking goofy. Like, it was confusing as fuck. Like,
at some points it does.
What the fuck is sin? What the hell is this? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, like you get like a really, like the whole like what is sin in the beginning of the game is very confusing. You're like, why is this thing attacked? Like, what is going on? Like, all you know is that like this is it's like a cycle. It's like, you know, you defeat sin, eventually sin comes back and you have to defeat it again. And then if sin wins, then the whole world ends or something like that. And then you get revelations along throughout the story about who these characters are. And then at the end of it, you get this huge,
just let me read this line, and spoilers for a fucking decades old game. But this line sums up how fucking weird X is. Titus learns Sin is Jecht because the final Aeon is dead, and a guardian close to the summoner will have to sacrifice him or herself to become the faith for a new one, as Jecht did. It's like,
yeah.
I remember all that shit. I'd be like, what in the fuck
Yeah.
are these people talking about?
So Jecht is Titus's father. Titus never knew what happened to his dad.
Right,
now he knows
the final
that,
Aeon, bro.
that Jecht is Sin, and then at the end of it, again, spoilers, Titus is the one who sacrifices himself to become Faith, and then he was to become like it was.
The
and
next
then
Sin.
It's also the first Final Fantasy game to spawn actual sequels to it.
Right,
So,
because
like,
it had just X2 as well.
yeah,
where,
it had 10-2, and then it had
Yuna becomes the lead, right?
Yeah, Yuna's the lead. She's working with Riku, who was another character that was in 10 proper, and then Pain is another character who was introduced to it later on. And in that journey, you're basically like at the very beginning of the game, Yuna sees somebody. She's watching a video, a news story, and she sees somebody who looks exactly like Titus, but she knows that Titus sacrificed himself and that he became the final Aeon. So she's like, oh my God, is Titus still alive? So you're fighting through and you're trying to find this person to see if it is Titus. And what's interesting about that game is that it's the first game within the Final Fantasy series that I'm aware of where your choices and how you play the game affects how the game ends.
Ah, look at that.
So if you like, there's different places that you're supposed to visit over and over again. Like Waka is one of the main characters, and he's living out on, you know, where he's originally from. If you visit him enough times and keep that relationship up, like you learn the name of his child. If you don't, you never learn the name of the child. And then if you do a good job of keeping all of the threads tied and learning the stories and everything like that, at the end of it, that really is Titus. Titus is real. Like, he's alive.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, and if you don't, then you find out that it's somebody else. It's not Titus, and the ending of the game is, I would call it, like, relatively unsatisfactory.
They really, I mean, Final Fantasy, I would say for me, 7, 8, and 9 are probably the best run of Final Fantasy. I think, you know, a lot of that has to do with the time.
Exactly.
My age when it came out. But really, some of the newer stuff, I played the 13s. It's like, hey, whatever.
I see, for me, it was 10. And again, it's because of your age, like you called it out. Like, that's those 3 that came out for you, 7, 8, 9, were like in that age range where that style of game was like what you wanted to play all the time.
Oh, yeah. You're 100%. I mean, I was in college for, I think, when 9 came out, and then 10, I was almost out probably, or right about.
Yeah.
I remember 9, I just sat in my fucking room and would fucking play 9 for hours,
Yeah.
hours. Like I couldn't even physically do it anymore. I could not game that way anymore. There's no way. I'm talking 6 hours, 8 hours, the whole fucking Saturday gone.
Oh yeah, dude. Like that's like I would spend in 10. I would spend hours just playing Blitzball. Like that to me, Blitzball is the best like additional game inside of a game for Final Fantasy. But for me, it was 10, 12, and 13. Those were like the 3 core Final Fantasy games that I played during that stretch of time. And 12 was okay. It had like a really
I
weird
just
combat
tried
system.
12 for the first time, I think a year or 2 years ago.
Because they just released that Zodiac
Right.
Age one.
Exactly. And I like it, but I don't know, and this is my fear for remake. Let's be real here. I don't know if my brain can do these games anymore.
I know it requires, because you're not just, it's not like you're playing Doom or you're playing like some 20-hour FPS. Like the story is complex
Yes.
in a lot of these, and
Yes.
if you're gonna follow it, you actually have to dedicate like mental space to it.
Yes, and I get any type of game like this where it's like you can go this way or that way or this way or that way. I sit there for probably 5 minutes going, well, what if I go this way and I miss something that way or up that way or back this way? And now I just got to look at them all. It's like, oh shit, but now I just progressed the story. Can I go back here?
I know, dude. It's fucked.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's my favorite game of all time. So we'll see. Maybe I'll report back next week on our new show, Final Fantasy Time Show.
Yes, we need to do that now.
All right, dude. Well, hey, my friends. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know we haven't really talked anything Star Wars for almost an hour at this point. Nick and I were worried we wouldn't have enough to talk about, but clearly we figured out that issue. So let's go ahead and get into our Star Wars topics for this episode, and we're gonna start with the High Republic. So last week on StarWars.com, we actually got a few of the main characters revealed. Not gonna lie, dude, I don't like High Republic era Jedi garb. I think it looks fucking stupid.
It's all white and gold.
It's like they're wearing sheets or towels or something. It just, I mean, give me the robes of the prequel era.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go. Like, what is this shit?
I mean, aside from Keeve Trennis, which is like if you scroll through that.
Yeah, let's
Instagram
just start
post,
let's just start with Avar or Avar Chris or however the fuck.
Avar Chris. So we'll kind of like I'll read through the character descriptions for each one, and we can kind of riff on it a little bit. What our thoughts are. So it says, Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She is invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration for those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Chris is the best of the best. So in my opinion, she sounds the most like Yoda here.
Okay,
Well,
I was
not-
going Yoda or Kenobi.
Yeah, Kenobi probably more than Yoda, because I think there is a more, a more apt Yoda description later on in these character descriptions. But yeah, Kenobi, like, the best, like the thing that got it was like, she is the best of us. Like, she's the best of the best.
Yeah, and I guess I would almost give that to Kenobi over Yoda, because on Yoda's watch, the Jedi almost got wiped out.
Yeah, I mean, like, there was never, in my opinion, there was never really one Jedi who was raised above the rest, like it seems Avar is here in the High Republic era. There was never one, like...
Even their lightsabers, the hilts seem a little bit longer.
I think it's probably because they hadn't gotten to, like...
Shit, wait till we get to the next guy. Look at his motherfucking shit. But you know what I mean? It's like they all share... It's like once they reach Jedi Knight, as in actual medieval knights, they get like a cloak or something.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like,
let's go to the next guy. So we got Avar. She's technically maybe the leader, the best of the best. Then we got Stellan Gios here.
Yep, Stellan Gios. So
see how... I mean, yeah, he's got a cape and a hood, but see his smock or whatever?
Yeah.
Is the same design as Avar's?
Yeah, it's almost
sort of?
like the Knights. If you ever seen pictures of like the Knights Templar with that red smock
Exactly.
on it,
It's like it's not a house sigil, but it sort of is.
yeah, yeah. And his lightsaber is sick because it's got the cross guard on it, but not like Kylo's where it was like a vent.
Yeah, it's
an
good old broadsword shit. Like,
yeah, yeah.
So who's this guy, Nick? Who is
Stellan Gios? Stellan is an optimistic and well-respected Jedi Master. Stellan came up through the Order with Avar, and although they are often on different assignments for the Jedi or the Republic, when the two work together, they are a powerhouse team of two noble heroes in action. Strong in the Force and a natural leader, Stellan is currently stationed at one of the Jedi Temple outposts on the distant planet of Karagon Viner.
Qui-Gon Jinn. Matt Mike Fail, number 2. All right, and we're back from our second technical fuck-up mistake. Fuck you, GarageBand. Fuck you, my mic. Fuck technology. Anyways, we were talking about the High Republic characters, right, Nick?
Yes.
We were talking about the dude that had the broadsword-looking sword, and I kind of made the comment that he sounds kind of like a Qui-Gon Jinn type.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he is one of the Jedi that are not stationed at the proper, like the temple proper. So he's a master that's still out there, like Qui-Gon was. Well, Qui-Gon wasn't a master, but he was one of the, Qui-Gon was one of the more elder Jedi that hadn't become a master because of his, thoughts on things and everything like that. But this guy does seem pretty, pretty Qui-Gon-like. He's, still a powerhouse fighter. He's still out there. He's out in a distant planet outpost, so he's still running missions.
Yeah, he looks like he could fuck people up.
Yeah, he looks like a tank. Like if you were,
he does.
If we,
yes, exactly.
We spent a lot of time talking about Final Fantasy here. If he was a Final Fantasy character, he would be your tank. So he would be the guy that takes all the damage and all that stuff. So pretty interesting character. I like the look of his saber for sure. It's a completely new style with the actual crossguard on the saber hilt itself. So pretty fucking cool. Next up, we have Vernestra Rwoh. Am I saying that right, Matt?
Sure. I like how they just call her Vern, so
Yeah.
I guess that's how we'll roll.
Yeah, so she looks like a little kid. She's like
but she still has the smock, and there's no braid. And I did see today on leaks that people involved in this confirmed that yes, even back during this era, that Padawans are still designated with a braid.
Okay, yeah. So
and their own type of garb. So I'm guessing. I don't know. I haven't read her bio, so go for it.
Yeah. So she is not a Padawan. It says Vern is a newly minted.
Okay. Yeah. She was Stellan's Padawan.
Yeah. She is a newly minted Jedi Knight.
There we go.
Vernestra, a Marillion. That's her race of alien, or Mirilon, whatever, was a Padawan.
I liked how you said it the first time.
Yeah, Marillion. It's a playable race in Star Wars: The Old Republic if you want to play them. Was a Padawan of Stellan Gios. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order, more so than others her age. At 16, she is one of the youngest Jedi Knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with the adults while also setting a good example for the younger Jedi. So somebody like this, I mean, we haven't really had an example of this character before. I mean, the closest you could get is Ahsoka, but I wouldn't say that Ahsoka is like a, devoted, works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order. She was more of kind of a rebel, kind of like Anakin. So this is she's almost like a Jedi, genius or something like that to be knighted at 16
Yeah,
years
I
old.
would. I don't know, man. I think there's some Ahsoka to her for sure, because I know technically she never became a full-fledged Jedi, but it did feel like she was progressing that way. But she did kind of struggle to fit in with all the Jedi Knights and Masters, right?
Yeah.
Because of as you said, she was gifted, but also was under the tutelage of one Anakin Skywalker, who didn't really teach in the typical fashion.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like with Vern here, it's just such a weird name, Vern. That
hey, Vern.
She's gonna be in this position to where she's gonna be an outcast amongst like she's going to be like disrespected by the older Jedi because she's a knight at 16 when usually, knighthood happens much later. So she's going to be frowned upon, and it's going to be hard for her to go out on solo missions on her own because she's fucking 16 years old. But then also, like, everybody in her age, in her age range and all of the Padawans that she grew up with, they're all going to be like, she's going to be an outcast on both sides of things. At least that's the way that I would think about it.
She has potential to have an Anakin Skywalker headspace where he really has no peers at his level, but he also has problems with the masters because they don't quite respect him and include him in their day-to-day.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good call out.
That's just, I'm just throwing it out there. Just reading that bio, it does sound like she may not be as gifted as him, but she's clearly gifted. She's already a Jedi Knight, but she's a teenager. She doesn't fit in with the old Knights, but doesn't really set good examples for the young Knights. So it's like, it sounds very Anakin to me.
Yeah. So that's actually a really good call out for her.
I'm just, at this point, Nick, I'm just waiting for the next fucking technical glitch. So this shit's like all in my head now, and I'm just staring at my goddamn GarageBand app waiting for it to shut
down again. So let's move.
Because it's just like at this point, I'm a master troubleshooter, and there's no doubt in my mind this shit's going to fritz again before we're done.
Yeah. So let's move quickly then. So the next one up is Loden Greatstorm.
Fuck.
This is a pretty good name, Loden Greatstorm.
That's a hell of a name. Yeah, that is a hell of a name.
I like it. So his character...
But he looks constipated.
He does. He looks like his eyes are like half shut. He's got a pretty dope-ass like yellow/gold lightsaber.
Yeah, he seems too serious to me. Like he could be the Yoda-ish.
That's what
I haven't read the bio, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, he seems like the Yoda. So his bio says, Loden is a Twi'lek Jedi Master. Matt's into Twi'leks. And is considered to be
maybe not so much the male variants, but you never know.
He likes the race. He likes the the Shaktis and the Ahsokas and the all of those. But so it says Loden is a Twi'lek Jedi Master, is considered to be one of the best teachers in the Order. So that's a lot like Yoda. Strong and wise with a good sense of humor. Loden looks at every moment as a learning experience, always trying to better himself and those around him, especially his Padawans. So that's like pretty dead on to Yoda to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Yoda really got a sense of humor until he went fucking nuts and became Hobo Yoda on Dagobah.
Yeah.
And he's fucking with Luke and R2. But yeah, I do. I think they kind of line up.
Yeah, they even look
similar. Fucking Yoda should be around at this point in time.
I know. You
got to mention the Yoda.
I'm interested to see where he falls because...
And I want to see what he was wearing. Like, is he whipping one of these regal-ass looking things?
That would be awesome to see a tiny, like, fucking...
He got, like, some hair braided and shit?
Yeah. I want to see where he is because this is only... We're talking, 400 years before... is like where the High Republic era sits.
Yeah, it's something like that. I mean, it's well within his lifespan.
Yeah, so he's at this point he would be 500 or around 500 years old. So I imagine he's still a Jedi Master. Like, yes, but he's clearly gonna be.
Yeah, you would think so, considering when they're 50 and they're babies, they can lift up mud horns and. Contain fire blasts, heal motherfuckers. So yeah, I would assume he's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So this Loden Greatstorm seems to be the main Jedi teacher at this time, the Jedi Master who is teaching all the Padawans and stuff, similar to Yoda. He's green too, so he's got the same Yoda color. And then the last one up here is the only person not whipping the regal garb of a Jedi Knight, and that's Keeve Trennis. So her little bio reads as such. Keeve is a young firebrand Jedi believed to have a great future ahead of her if only she would believe in herself. Quick-witted and more impulsive than she should be, Keeve has only been a Jedi Knight for a few weeks and is a little starstruck around Avar, knowing many of the great things.
Little lesbian action.
Yeah, a little, wow, maybe so. Knowing many of the great things Chris has done in the past, she is determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed on Starlight Beacon.
Nick, I was when I looked at her without reading the bio, I was like, this could be the young one, the in terms of training, and I was sort of right. It's almost like she didn't get rid of her Padawan braid yet.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it says like she literally has just become a Jedi Knight.
Yeah. For a few weeks.
She looks a lot like Rafa Martez. Not gonna lie.
She does. She does kind of have a Rafa
like almost
look.
identical.
Like
even the same fucking haircut.
Yeah, they literally the half shaved head, the similar skin tone, even like the facial expression looks similar.
I mean, it's fucking Rafa Martez.
Yeah. So maybe
you gotta like the bow staff blade.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody else here is whipping a pretty standard saber, the single blade, but Keeve has the the double bladed lightsaber like the Mauls and stuff like that. So pretty. I mean they all look pretty cool. I do agree with you that their get-ups are a little stuffy. I don't think that you could.
They look too hoity-toity high society, like, hey, we're the Jedi. You like our gold robes?
Yeah.
Like that type of shit.
I gotta imagine that this is all ceremonial stuff too, because it doesn't look like it would be good to fight in. Like if you're loading.
Yeah, exactly. Like especially Avar, Stellan, and Green guy. Loading Greatstorm.
If you were to get into a scrap wearing Loden's gear, I don't know how well you could move around. Like, it is not the best.
Yeah, I mean, Stellan and Avar look like they could probably fight.
Yeah.
In this shit, because they just got some capes and shit, some robes.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe this is what they wear when they sit around the table or something.
Sit around the Jedi Temple chambers, but. I mean, they're very interesting characters, and what I want to see is, which one of the basically what we were told when the High Republic area was first leaked / announced is that you would have, the stories would follow 3 main characters that are all going out into the unknown regions to do studies, and each of these different characters would have different special abilities. So I want to see which of these. Of these 5, which are the 3 that will be going out, and which are the 2 that are essentially going to be their points of contact, like the second main characters within these stories. Like I assume Loden Greatstorm is not going out into the fucking unknown regions, because he is the Jedi Master who is the primary trainer. But I could see Avar Kriss going out. I could see. Vern, even though she's super young, going out into the unknown regions to do some investigations and stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see who these characters are that are taking up.
Well, yeah, man, we're going to rely on you because my fat ass isn't reading this shit.
Yeah,
I'll look at the comic books if those ever come back.
Yeah,
but,
I'll have to.
I did like getting these little teases. We've got more to come. I don't know if Star Wars is going to release them this week or kind of save it, but. I like getting little driblets of information on this High Republic stuff, even though I'll probably ignore most of it because it'll be in book form.
Yeah, so maybe if it's popular enough in book form, it'll eventually become, either live action series or cartoon series or something like that. I really do hope that this era becomes more than just written content, is what I'm saying. Maybe we get some video games, TV series, something like that. But... yeah, I mean,
here.
If you are interested in this era, interested in these new characters, check it out. It's on StarWarsTime.net. High Republic main characters revealed. I'll have it in the post shell as well. So check it out there.
Dude, I'm just sitting here my edit job tomorrow is going to suck.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of.
We're going to have 55 different audio stems. And then all these goddamn pictures I'm gonna have to put in the fucking movie version.
Oh man, it's
interns.
It will give you something to do in your stir craziness. You're right.
You're right. It's not that bad. I just excuse me. I don't. No, COVID.
Here it comes.
I don't like knowing when shit's fucked up. And like I said, I know for a fact GarageBand's gonna dump again before we're done. So it's I'm just sitting here walking on eggshells in my seat. All right, man. Let's kind of we'll move on to something that is in a multimedia format that Matt can process. Yes, I'm talking in the third person, and that is the Clone Wars, and that's because it has moving, pretty pictures.
Yes.
Right? No reading required. Just hit play, and it goes. So we got S7E7 this past week called Dangerous Debt. It ended up being more of a setup, a narrative positioning type of episode, but there was some good stuff in there. There's some solid eggs, a few top moments. So, that's how Nick and I do our little breakdown of the Clone Wars, and then we'll be talking about what we're expecting to see in Episode 8, thanks to a new clip we got today. So, let's start with the Easter eggs. First up, I have corrected a sin from 2 episodes back when I left out the blue Snaggletooth homage to the Kenner version of Snaggletooth, but he was the first thing you saw in Dangerous Debt. He was being whisked away to a Pike prison cell.
Yep.
I really, really, really enjoyed number 2, Nick, and I loved it so much because it did exactly what I love about franchises like Star Wars. Is it dug into some lore and tied shit together. It took stuff from the past, put it here in the present. It makes everything all nice. It explains why the Martez sisters fucking hate the Jedi, and it also taught Ahsoka that, the Jedi are kind of fucking dickheads.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
But we learn that the events that took place during an episode of the Clone Wars, specifically S1E22, this is when Cad Bane breaks Ziro the Hutt out of a prison on Coruscant. We learned that the subsequent chase, which didn't even end up in the capture of Ziro, is the reason why the Martez sisters are on their own, because the chase ended up destroying their home and killing their parents. And really, that goes to the next egg. We also got a Luminar Unduli mentioned by Rafa when she explains to Ahsoka, like, listen, the Jedi were chasing these fuckers, destroyed our house, killed our parents saved us, and at the end, this green-faced Jedi came up to us and just said, hey, don't worry, the Force will be with you.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it because it literally tied together an episode from season 1. Mm-hmm. It explained why the Martez sisters dislike the Jedi so much and why just regular people don't trust the Jedi. Like I said, it showed Ahsoka that, you know what? The way you felt about the Jedi when you left probably wasn't that far off. They are kind of full of hubris and cocksuckers that really don't care about collateral damage. And then just the Luminara using, the Jedi way, like, hey, fucking get over it. Emotions are for pussies. The Force is with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally
peace.
Having no sympathy or having no knowledge of how to deal with human grief and just being like, yeah, you'll be fine. No problems there. And it just shows you.
I really like that. I mean, it's like that is some smart writing. Just a little casual story ties that episode and the event, which is a major event because it was the first appearance of Cad Bane ever. It was essentially picking up from the Clone Wars movie thread where Ziro is captured and imprisoned. But now we see that event is why, the Martez and really anyone else that isn't in the high levels of Coruscant dislike the Jedi.
Yeah, it's a good show of collateral damage. Like you said, you never get to really see the effects of collateral damage in Star Wars because you just never focus on it. You're only focused on the mains. But this is a really good.
I mean, Palpatine didn't have to do much to get people to think that Jedi were assholes.
Yeah, yeah.
Just think if you're a regular person and you have a band of Jedi rip through your neighborhood and half the houses get wiped out as they're chasing Darth Maul.
Yeah.
What are you going to think about the Jedi?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to think highly of them. I mean, even the situation with the chase and Attack of the Clones where, fucking Anakin and Obi-Wan are chasing down this fucking, droid who put the things in Padme's bedroom, and then the pursuant chase after that of Zam Wesell. There was a lot of shit that the Jedi just did. They were they didn't have any
Oh, dude, Obi-Wan and Anakin have probably killed more people than Palpatine, and he's blown up planets.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking crazy. So, it's something that you don't often think about in the Star Wars universe. So,
all right, so we also got the Jabba torture droid
cool.
who's still torturing.
Yes.
That was great. This one, call it what you want, deep cut, fucking I'm a moron. But I swear, when Trace was running through the prison, that they were mimicking the Han running through the Death Star.
Okay.
Because she even starts going like, ah, like as she's running with her gun.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me when Han's like, let's do it. He runs, sees all, like, literally a fucking battalion of troopers. He's like, ah, like, just keeps running through the Death Star like a madman.
Yeah, shoots one, turns around, keeps running. That was great.
Yeah, he's like, so I really felt like that was a nod to that scene. Yeah. We got a Wilhelm in this episode. Nice. I'm always going to mention those, even though I say I don't repeat eggs, but it's just, I feel like anyone that is a hardcore Star Wars fan knows about the Wilhelm.
Yeah.
We don't have to explain it. I know there's people telling me now that any Wilhelms used in Star Wars are actually George Lucas himself making the noise.
Wow, that would be interesting if that's true. I don't know.
But it's an iconic audio drop in cinema. I forget which movie it came from, but it's been used in hundreds of action films. But Star Wars in particular tries to throw it in everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Live action, the TV stuff, the movies, the cartoons. So I threw it there.
1951 with the film Distant Drums. That was the first time it was used.
There you go.
So
it is the greatest stunt scream of all time, the Wilhelm. Another deep cut here. I swear there was an alien on Obadiah that was the same species as Rat's Tyrell.
Alina. That's that alien type.
Yes.
Aleena.
Right.
Yes.
And then, of course, an obvious one here, or maybe not so obvious if people don't watch the episode with captions on, which I recommend anyone that breaks down TV, turn on captions for your first viewing. But Bo-Katan and motherfucking Ursa Wren.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really cool scene at the very end there.
Oh, yeah. And at this point in time, I believe Bo has formed the Night Owls, which means she has separated from Death Watch because of Maul's takeover. And having Ursa there just confirms that Ursa was part of the Night Owls, which was kind of Bo's outfit to combat what Death Watch and Maul were doing. Yeah. So, all right, dude, let's just stay with them, because to me, narratively, they are the most interesting aspect of this episode outside of that Zero the Hutt story.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Because
for me, it was interesting to see them there because they had, like, in my opinion, they had to be on that planet for some reason. They had to be on Obadiah doing something other than, unless they had heard something about, like, people being captured and brought there, but it's a Pike stronghold. And the only other reason that they would be there is if they were trying to do something to disrupt their operations, right? Like, what other reason would they have to be on Obadiah?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, at this point, we know as viewers that Maul is in league with the Pikes.
Yes.
They're all kind of teaming up, the Shadow Collective. So, yeah, I mean, Nick's 100%. These Night Owls with Bo as their lead, they have to be there for information, a kidnapping, sabotage, something.
Yeah. So
they're expecting, I don't know, maybe this episode coming up, maybe they're expecting Maul himself to be there. Maybe they can take him out. He's not going to be with everybody. He's not going to be in the stronghold on Mandalore. But it's probably more information gathering or trying to take out an asset, I would think.
Yeah, that's what I assume too. Or they're trying to do like a prisoner extraction or something like that. Get back one of their people.
Right, because, I mean, Bo was surprised to see a Jedi there, and she definitely recognized Ahsoka. She didn't know her by name, but she's like, I know her from whatever planet.
Yeah, wherever, Ahsoka had met Bo-Katan.
And we know for a fact that that's probably going to resolve itself in Episode 8 coming up, but we'll kind of get into that because we did get a clip and some guarantees of character names at least being mentioned. But so, I mean, what are they doing there? As we said, probably sabotage, asset retrieval, asset removal. Now it's probably going to expand in scope a little bit because of Ahsoka. I mean, this is essentially I think now how we're going to loop in the Jedi, right? I mean, they're pretty much going to let Ahsoka know, like, yo, Maul is behind all this. He's fucking up Mandalore. We need the Jedi's help. Well, I'm not a Jedi. Well, whatever. Blah, blah. Anakin, boo-boo, blah, blah, goo-goo. Okay, we got to save the Chancellor. You do it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have the direct mention of Maul in this episode, but they did kind of reference him, saying, essentially Bo-Katan said that, there is a more pressing enemy that we both have in common or something like that towards the end. So, overall, this episode, it was, it was another setup episode, but I thought it was really cool because it built on, it gave more character traits to Rafa and to Trace, and it showed that Trace is basically, she's more badass than she looks. She essentially took out a whole room of Pikes by herself when she was being taken in to go, have her torture done by the torture droid.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, people, I don't know like how much you pick up from the community, but a lot of people they're not liking these episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that, but I mean, you have to have, like, I think everybody was in the mindset that we were before the Clone Wars release, where we're like, we want everything to be go, go, go all the time. Give me Anakin, Ahsoka, and, them two getting back together. Give me the fucking Maul storylines. They want to get to the meat of it as quickly as possible, but you can't just, like, especially in TV, in short form TV, you can't just do that. You can't just jump right into shit. I mean, I will say that they're probably, are Rafa and Trace the best characters that have ever been introduced into Star Wars history? No, of course not. But they're setting up the relationships that Ahsoka is building into the underworld for when she eventually takes over the mantle of Fulcrum in Star Wars.
Well, they're serving a huge purpose for Ahsoka, and that's exposing to her what life is like outside the Order, what regular people deal with, how the Jedi are viewed, how she should view the Jedi ultimately, how she should be, who she should be. I mean, look at her. She's still holding back 95% of what she can do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that was another thing that I really enjoyed about this episode, is seeing how she could, subversively use the Force, or like, just doing it in an underhanded way so nobody realizes it. Like, just, opening the door when Rafa's knocked out and she's like, oh, there was a fucking power failure and the fence fell. And then when they're having that shootout at the very end of the episode, and she just like pops those two pikes out so Trace could, get a clear shot. It was really fun to see how she uses the Force in interesting ways to make sure that, one, they're safe, but she also doesn't expose herself. But
when she's by herself, she can still kick the shit out of people. I mean, when she takes down that whole tower full of people, no weapons, still just all melee based, and just beats the shit
That's
out
what
of
I was
them.
thinking. Like, when I was watching that, I was like, why didn't she just fucking use the Force and throw these motherfuckers out that window? Like,
right.
If it was me,
practice,
I
I guess,
that.
at not using the Force.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe it's weird. But, I mean, this episode, I will say, was definitely more, it was more focused for me, and it was more enjoyable for me in terms of the references and the Easter eggs, because that Zero the Hutt story, like you said, was a huge part of this episode, and it gives context that you never really think about in Star Wars. Like, you never think about the fact that, like, for example, in episode 3, when fucking Anakin crashes that ship down, Grievous' ship down onto the landing platform.
I mean, yeah, they say it's a platform, but I'm sure he ran over multiple working class people.
Like that whole ship took down an entire like landing platform tower. Like, you literally see it hit it and it crumble to the ground. But you never think about like what happens to those people. Like, how are their lives affected?
Fuck no, man. Fucking
even
Jedi, Miller time, America.
Just going back to like Clerks 1, like that conversation. If you've never seen Clerks.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what about, like, this Death Star is blown up. Yeah, there's Imperials on it, but there's probably also, like, independent contractors that just work on that Death Star that have nothing to do with the Empire. They're just fucking doing a job. What about those guys? So it is an interesting subsection of Star Wars, and that you never get to really hear about a lot. So I thought that was pretty fun, just to have that like.
Man, doing this episode, knowing that my equipment's faulty, it's adding an edge to
like
it.
An extra level of stress.
I feel a little bit of adrenaline right now.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta get it in before we die again.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I just keep thinking, I'm trying to process what to say, but also when it's gonna blow up.
But
I can't help it. I'm someone like I'll just hyper focus on this shit now to the end.
So what were some of your hot moments in this episode?
I don't. We covered a lot of them. Like obviously the Night Owls, Ahsoka fighting and Force use, the escape through Trace, and really the Zero story.
Yeah.
So I guess final comment on the episode is like, yeah, I even say it's not fantastically entertaining, but someone that does just appreciate narrative, in particular Star Wars narrative of any kind, as long as it's good, I don't really care, and I like it. I mean, this is, as I've been saying, it is putting the major pieces into position in a smart way, a slower burn way, and I agree with some of the commentary I've heard out there, such as, hey, if you're going to do these threads to set this stuff up with the Martez, why not have a full run season? I'm like, I can feel that. But I also, even in this shortened season, I still think these episodes, while not overly entertaining, and yes, it's not loaded with pew-pews and lasers and lightsabers, narratively for the character of Ahsoka Tano, it's done a great job at, kind of growing the character beyond what we knew her to be at the end of season 5 when she disappeared. Yeah. She no longer is a Jedi. She no longer is under the protection of Anakin in the upper class. She has to learn life, essentially. And as Nick has been saying, you can't just... Ahsoka's back, and she's right back to where she was at the end of season 5 when this major moment in Star Wars canon happened. Literally, the Jedi fucked over one of their own so bad that she was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't trust you fuckers. I'm out.
Self-exile.
You can't just inject her with a cannon right back into the Jedi Order, even if she doesn't rejoin it, even back with those characters. You have to let her grow a bit, stew a bit on her own to become the fulcrum, the Ahsoka we know, the one that, yes, was trained by Anakin for a time, but for the most part, trained herself in the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah. So they are what they are. I'm telling you right now, episode 8, which we'll move on to, Nick, you're going to get Maul. I mean, we get a fucking Maul mentioned in the freaking teaser clip.
Yeah, I mean, this is where things are definitely going to start picking up. I mean, I don't expect them to stay too much. I don't want to say that, but I hope they don't stay too much longer on Obadiah. I hope now that the Night Owls are here and Bo-Katan, Ursa are on site, that we kind of get away from the Pike Syndicate or the Pike clan side of this stuff.
Oh, dude, this is it, man. And just based on the descriptions we know and this clip, Ahsoka is going to get in touch with Anakin and Obi.
So getting past that and then moving on to because we're moving quickly towards those final 4 to 5 episodes that Sam Witwer was talking about as like some of the best that this series has ever produced.
Yeah, you're 100%. This is the last one of the first movie we talked about all those weeks ago.
Yeah. So this is
like episode 8 here. This is the final episode of the first half of this amazing movie that Witwer's talking about. I mean, he talked about the final 4, but that doesn't kick off to episode 9. So episode 8 coming up this Friday. This will be the conclusion. So I do believe we are going to see Ahsoka off this planet back, if not when the credits flash, with Anakin and Obi.
At least.
And by episode 9, I think we're getting into, all right, how do we deal with Maul? Do you go, Ahsoka? Even are you with the Jedi anymore? Anakin and Obi are still going to be pulled by the war, in particular the abduction of the Chancellor. I mean, does that happen? Who knows? But We know at least coming up in 8, Maul is going to be mentioned, if not spotted.
Yes, and that's where once he enters this series, that's where shit gets moving. And like we said, episode 9, 10, 11, 12, those are the ones that constitute this, what's basically an hour and 45-minute long movie that we've heard about from.
Right. So if you all miss that episode, fuck you.
Yes.
But Sam, who voices Maul, said that the final 4 episodes should be viewed as a single film, and it is the best, at least Clone Wars narrative ever told.
So I'm excited. I mean, the series is definitely moving along at a little bit slower pace than I initially expected. I mean, if you look at, the 2 3-episode arcs that we've had so far, or 4-episode arcs, people are shitting on this arc, but really, your Clone Force 99 episodes, the only purpose that those served was to introduce that Clone Force, which who knows if they'll have any bearance on the events at the end of this series.
I have a feeling that they may be the ones that literally pull Rex and Ahsoka off the planet. Like they swoop in and like, bah, God, they do their thing. One of them may sacrifice himself, maybe Wrecker, and they're out.
So getting to know them and then tying a bow on Echo's story.
Oh yeah.
So that's really, if I know that people are upset by this because it's you don't see Anakin, you don't see the clones, and it's not as action packed, but it's serving.
Right, there's no shiny shit. There's no lightsabers and pew-pews.
But it's serving similar purpose. Like it is building towards the end game of this series. So
exactly.
I've enjoyed it so far. I really do like the characters that we're introduced to, and I hope that it lives up. Like the last 4, like do what Sam says.
I really think it is, man. I mean, this opening act, as slow and different as it may be, and unpleasant to some of you, as Nick said, it's a slow boil for the payoff, and I think the payoff is going to be pretty emotional across many fronts. I mean, I think we're going to see a different side of Anakin's dip. I think we're going to see the moment Ahsoka realizes that something's off, right? Because even by Rebels, she doesn't fully believe herself that Vader is Anakin until she smashes his face.
So, yeah.
I mean, this first act, right, it's going to end here with 8. I still think overall, while not wildly entertaining and flashy, will serve a purpose that's going to make the final 4 payout be even better.
Yeah, I agree. So episode 8 drops on Friday, so be prepared for it. And then after that, we're into the final run. We're into the final sprint of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and then that's it forever. I mean, hopefully we get some good continuing content either from a Rebels prequel that we had or a Rebels sequel that we had heard about. But
have to, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, animated Star Wars must continue in some form or fashion. It's got.
I mean, honestly, at this point, who knows with the COVID shit?
Yeah, I mean, everything has been.
I mean, unless the Lucasfilms, whatever the worlds, were willing to be like, all right, employees, Nick, you go to the office at 8:00 today and bring your mega rig home and work and, blah, blah, blah. We'll pay for your bandwidth and this, that, the other thing. Or again, like, Nick, you go in, it's your day to work on the code or the animation or this. And then the next day it's Matt and then so on and so forth. I doubt it. So, I mean, a lot of this shit could end up be getting delayed big time.
Yeah, there's not a lot that you can do from home in terms of large-scale animation projects like this if you don't have the necessary hardware to do it. So
yeah, like probably a $20,000 fucking iMac or whatever those things are.
So I really do hope that we don't have too many delays because of all of this. But I know that, one thing for sure that is being delayed is the upcoming Kenobi series. And that's going to be our next, topic of conversation here is, everything that's been happening with Kenobi since we heard about the initial delay because of the problems with the script and, it being too similar to what we've already seen in The Mandalorian. Now we have some new information out here specifically around the writer and when we can expect to see the series as a whole. So the first piece of news is around the new writer hired for the Kenobi series.
Yeah, this shit's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, so the new writer is Joby Harold. He is a, he's
an executive producer by trade.
Mostly known as a producer. So
I think I highlighted his IMDb.
You did. So you linked out to it. So some big things that he's produced. So Edge of Tomorrow, executive producer. Edge of Tomorrow is the Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt film where they're kind of traveling back in time reset, all that shit. Executive producer on that. He was the executive producer on, let's see. He was the executive producer on the Robin Hood movie that came out in 2018. The executive producer
right?
on John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. So he's worked on big movies. Like, he's definitely got some big movies under his belt, but his writer credits are very limited. So he wrote Awake. Now, if you have followed Hayden Christensen's career, Awake is a movie that he made after the release of Rots. It was about a guy who goes into surgery, and there's this like condition to where some people when they're put under anesthesia actually don't fall asleep. They are awake and they see everything. And basically,
it had Anakin in it.
Yeah. So yes, Hayden Christensen was the main character, and basically he's like, so they put him under for a heart surgery, and he's a rich dude, but he doesn't fall asleep, so he can hear the surgical team planning to murder him. It was actually pretty interesting. So Joby Harold wrote and directed that film, and the only other writing credit he has is the King Arthur Legend of the Sword movie that he also produced, and that's the one with whatever his name is. Guy Ritchie directed it.
It's not good.
Yeah, Joby Harold wrote the screenplay with Guy Ritchie, and it stars Charlie Hunnam, the guy who was in Sons of Anarchy. I mean,
yeah, it's not a good movie. I mean, it's just point being here is like, why does this guy get a shot at Star Wars?
It's weird, dude. Like, I don't know if he knows somebody, like if he's in with, somebody that works at Lucas, but I mean, being an executive producer on John Wick 3 does not mean that you had any creative input into it.
No, it means nothing.
Yeah.
It means you're good at calling people on the phone and getting people to do shit and sticking to a schedule. I mean, producers have I would call it a tough job. I mean, they're pretty much the people in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in charge of everything. I mean, the director, they run the recording of the picture, but the producer sometimes hires the director. Yeah. The producer is the one that gets this person there, that crew there, this production there. So, I mean, it's a skill, but I don't know how it translates to writing. Yeah. And again, the shit he has written isn't very good.
I mean, he's got some unreleased stuff. Like he's screenplay writer for Army of the Dead, which is the upcoming, like, Zack Snyder directed that, stars Dave Bautista and some other people, zombie flick from Zack Snyder. So he wrote that, or has a screenplay credit for that. He also has a screenplay credit for an upcoming Transformers movie that is still very early in the works. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they read some of this unreleased stuff and they saw some promise and are like, all right, man, we'll let you work on Kenobi. But it's weird to see him attached as the writer.
Yeah, and here's the deal, and I'm not like someone who's going to get all social justicey here, like, oh, it should be a girl or a person of color, whatever. It should be the best qualified person.
Yeah.
And I don't even, you just look at a picture of this guy, and he looks like a Hollywood slime bag.
Yeah, he does. He does not look like a I don't know, man. He just doesn't look like somebody that could do this properly. I don't know. I mean, fuck.
It's weird, but I know what you mean. Like, it shouldn't make any sense what it looks like and how it translates to being able to tell a story. I just, as you said, and as I kind of speculated, I feel like he knows something, and it's like he wants to do Star Wars, and somehow he got into this by what he knows.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, coming off the back of that, so with Joby Harold as new writer, that literally has just started. It was just announced 5 days ago. We also got not necessarily an announcement, but we have word from a press release that was in French, an official Disney press release, that the expected release date now for Kenobi is 2022. So we never really had a solid release date for Kenobi. There was a lot of assumptions that it would be 2021, given that we have, Mando this year. We were expecting Cassian to be late 2020, maybe 2021. And then we also expected Kenobi to be around that 2021 time. Now it is slated as a 2022 release for Disney+. So that's kind of the expectation.
I'm still going to throw out a maybe at this point. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
we don't know if the world's going to end right now.
Yeah.
And the way Disney is handling Star Wars at this point, I have no fucking faith in shit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
I'm not saying I'm like going to go full fandom menace and spew hate all over social media. That's not my style. But I really. I don't know. I mean, Joby, Schmoby, and delay this, Cassian, who knows? It's like that. Everything's a big fucking question mark over there right now.
Yeah, I mean, according to that press release,
no faith.
That press release did say that Cassian was a 2020 release, so they haven't pushed that back yet, at least. So I don't know if that means that they have everything that they need in the can and they can just do post and still have it ready for 2020, but
I don't even think they've started filming this shit yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to hit a 2020 release date if they haven't filmed, but who knows? But the interesting part will be to see how new Disney CEO Bob Chapek handles the Star Wars license once he actually gets into the swing of things,
Well, hey, man, if you believe Mike Zero, according to Mike Zero, this Bob guy fucking hates Rian Johnson, is going to own him, and has already face fucked him essentially.
I have no reason to believe anything Mike Zero says. So
I'm being dead serious. Like, if you just want some comedy, go look at some of the thumbnails and video titles from the past, a month or so of Mike Zero content. And no, I don't go search this shit out. YouTube just rubs it in my fucking face every. Matt Mike Fail 3. Hey everyone. Somebody punch me in the fucking balls. Okay? Somebody punch me in the fucking balls. No, we're not taking commercial breaks. No, Nick's not running off to take a shit. My equipment is taking a shit left and right. So I've got some serious technical investigative work to get into. The same type of shit that I just talked about at the top of the show that fucking drives me nuts. So no, I'm not having a great time. Fuck you, Mike Zero, for bombing us out. I know that was your fault because I was talking shit about your stupid thumbnails and all your clickbait fucking videos. All right, Nick. What the hell were we even talking about before my shit blew up again? Oh, the Disney fucking is stupid, right?
Yes, the Kenobi 2022. Right. But you know what?
Fuck them.
Fuck them. We'll see when it happens. We'll see what Bob Chapek's real thoughts on Rian Johnson are when that time comes. But you know what?
I can't believe this shit.
There is a specific time that's about to come up now, and it is time for our top 5
Yes,
Star
thank
Wars
God.
artist features.
Can we get through this segment? Because honestly, this is going to be the only segment that people are listening to, because we know how our fan base rolls. They only tune in if they're in the top 5. But if that is the case, hey, welcome. Guess what? This has been a shit show tech-wise, thanks to yours truly. I fucking hate myself. I've wasted my life. More importantly, I've wasted Nick's life today trying to record this fucking episode.
Oh,
so,
man.
Hello, if you've been here for the whole time. Hasn't this been great? All right, man. Like
it's been
you
a
said,
journey.
Top 5, here we go. I shouldn't dilly-dally too long because it's only a fucking matter of time before my mic shits the bed again. It's either my mic or GarageBand. It's one or the other. So next week, I'll be trying Audacity. If it fucks up then we know it's the mic. Then I'm fucked because there's no way I'm getting a new one because Amazon is not shipping anything that is not deemed essential in any time quick. So anyways, let's do it. He's here. He's ready to rock. It's the man behind the top 5 Star Wars Fan Artist Features of the Week, Nick Caminita.
Here we go. So it's a tough time.
I've lost my mind, man. This episode's been a doozy.
Matt is gonna go crazy. You might see him just
I'm about ready to do what Nick did to his fucking 55-inch ass TV. All right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the whole fucking episode.
Listen to the whole thing. Go back to the beginning. But this week we got our top 5 plus our honorable mention. Matt broke down a shot for us kindly last week.
AKA the top 1.
Yes, the Matt Haywood top 1 of the week. So this week we're going to kick it off with a brand new top 5 entrant here, a never before seen account on the top 5, and that is Pop Toy Photos. And he brings us a pretty fucking awesome shot of some stormtroopers escaping from an intense battle, it looks like. It says here that they're on Starkiller bases. They're First Order troopers, and what we see is 2 First Order troopers with blasters in hand shooting at unseen enemies and then dragging one of their either injured or dead buddies out of the battle.
Right. And that's really what caught my eye, because I believe Pop Toy Photos is pretty new to the game.
Yes.
And puts out a lot of content.
Yeah.
And faithfully tags Star Wars Time Show, right? I didn't get into that because I'm all frazzled right now, my friends. I'm fucked up. Even more so than usual. But anyways, if you want to join in the top 5 fun, hashtag Star Wars Time Show on Instagram, tag at Star Wars Time Show on Instagram, like Pop Toy Photos does. But again, it's the posing here, because this has to be a digirama shot, meaning there's a digital background there, or no, because the reflections are too natural looking for this to be a composite. In my opinion, if you're listening, Pop Toy, you know what to do. Let us know. Fill us in through the DMs. But it's the pose, good dead body pose, nice dragging pose, but also, kind of a defensive maneuver, like get them out of here, as they're bracing, getting shot at by the resistance. So
yeah, I like it.
I dug the shot. I thought the good mix of VFX, digital, practical.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful shot.
But it's all in the posing, as I've said, right, Nick? It's all in the posing, something that I still struggle to this day to excel at. It is fucking hard, and that's why I am so impressed by the likes of you that can do it competently.
Yeah, this is a very, very competent job. Everything from, like Matt mentioned, the dead body pose to the one trooper with one knee on the ground kind of dragging and the other trooper kind of back there laying down suppressing fire. So excellent job at Pop Toy Photos on Instagram. Only 298 followers right now. Let's bump that number up.
Yeah, like I said,
really
I'm pretty sure it's a pretty new account. So and pretty active, but definitely a winner there. That was the one that got yourself featured, and then look at that, Nick made the pick. You've now been immortalized in SWTS history.
Beautiful stuff.
Bow before the lords.
All right, next up, this is another brand new entry in the top 5, and I know that our buddy Greg is always lamenting his non-top 5 status. I will say, Greg, just for your, gratification, Matt did not feature your bungee jumping shot until today, Tuesday, which means it did not get into the top 5, nominees.
A damn good shot, I might add, Gregory.
It is.
I think it could be your best to date, in my opinion.
It's a really fun shot. I actually really like.
But he hates us right now. He's protesting, so fuck him.
So Greg is
cocksucker.
He is no longer the.
Oh yeah. He's like
fan.
he's even doing like Marvel and DC shots now. He's so pissed at you. So
look at that. I've broken Greg. I've broken him.
He's given up on Star Wars stuff.
He's hashtagging
he's putting out his
Marvel
propaganda.
Time Show.
He's out there.
Yeah. Hashtag Marvel Time Show. He's trying to get a new podcast out of us. But next up we have at Mario_Stavro.
Yes.
On Instagram, and it's a beautiful Jango Fett shot here, and it's Jango with his jetpack activated, pistols whipped out, ready to fucking go to battle. I mean, again, with this shot, the pose is what really makes it, but also the awesome fireworks or whatever the fuck he used to light that jetpack on fire. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I hope Mario listens. I know he was hitting us up to figure out how he could listen when the episode drops. Well, for all of you, it's dropped, but hopefully he is listening. So yeah, I think those might be VFX.
Okay.
But I could be mistaken. If they're not, that it is a perfectly executed, practical firework application for a jetpack exhaust. I mean, we're talking the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It looks so good, and that's what I was gonna, wanted to kind of get from you is like, if you think this is practical, do you think this is post?
Like I said, if it's practical, it's damn near perfect. Like everything happened perfectly. It was set up perfectly. You got the perfect propulsion effect out of the firework. I mean, that's the thing with fucking fireworks, my friends. I mean, you really never know what the hell they're going to do. Half the time when I light a crackling ball, it ends up, 10 yards to the left of the fucking figure and did nothing for me except, piss off my neighbors and just piss, sometimes people, I swear to God, like I'm in a ring neighborhood type of deal.
Okay, yeah.
Where, if you have a ring, you can join a neighborhood and people post shit. And I swear that whenever I'm out there doing my photography with the fireworks, that's when they're posting, heard gunshots. It's like, no. That's just me fucking around with my toys. But back to Mario here, it would be damn near perfect if it is. Like I said, I mean, I would bow to this, hands down, if that's a practical jetpack effect. Either way, it doesn't matter. Even if it is VFX that was added in Photoshop or something, it's still fucking perfectly executed.
Yeah.
That's something to me that is very, very difficult. I mean, I hate working in that shit. I hate dealing with layers and wiping stuff out. So that's excellent. I just noticed something here that's kind of funny. I believe this is the Figure Arts version of Jango.
Okay.
Because look at his pistols. He's got them drawn, but they're also in his hips.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of time, Figure Arts will actually provide accessories where it's literally just a gun in a holster that doesn't come out. So it looks like Mario left those ones in while I whipped out the pistols.
Hey, Django's got 4 guns just in case.
Yeah, why not? I mean, fucking, what if he just pulled out some Grievous arms?
I know, right?
Pew, 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 pew.
2 arms from over the top, but...
it's another one. I mean, again, good pose, good effects. It's just a nice combo. I also kind of like looks like there's a little bit of a tilt on the camera there.
Yeah, natural light, like the natural lighting of this.
Yeah. It looks well lit just with the good old outdoor sun. So I've been getting back to that recently, as I've discussed on the show. Did a little bit last week. I'm trying to appease the Lord Dork here. He's hosting a Jump Trooper challenge, and I usually don't fuck around with challenges just because I'm a loser like that. It's too much pressure.
But now you have to upstage Greg.
I don't know if I'm gonna upstage anyone because again, I've made my attempts last week and I'm not too thrilled. And again, IG has me down the dumps confidence wise. shit just dies. It's DOA again, that type of life on IG. But whatever. Back to Mario, man. Just very, very, very well done Django shot overall.
Absolutely. Beautiful work. At Mario_Stavro, STAVROU on Instagram. Good job. Next up, we have a not toy pick piece here. This is a drawing, digital artwork here done by Designs by Tristan, a smaller art account. I mean, I know a lot of the art accounts that we feature are huge, but Tristan, Designed by Tristan here, 1,826 followers. She is her muse, you can see, is Disney and lovers. Like she really enjoys portraying lovers, especially Ben Solo and Rey Palpatine.
They do kind of have like an anime style. The eyes are a little bit larger.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of angular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love it. I love the coloring she used here. I even think she tagged us. Because a lot of times with the art, I find that in the Explore or whatever. But I think she may have tagged us.
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm glad she did, because it just, like I said, it's a very appealing looking piece of art.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the way that the color tones are kind of mixed.
Yeah, if you look at her feed too, this particular image that we're featuring here, the Reylo, the Ben and Rey has 3,000 likes, by far the most likes on any shot that she's done so far. But Reylo is definitely increasing her overall line of sight on Instagram. But this shot here, so just to describe it to you, it's Ben and Rey standing back to back, Ben holding the Skywalker family blade, so from his uncle, and then you have Rey holding Leia's lightsaber, both ignited, both kind of in a very upright stance, and there's this kind of cool little ring going around them, symbolizing their bond.
It's like a Na'vi from Zelda, right? Like one of those fuckers, like. Yeah, like one of those dickheads.
Yeah, one of the little fairies kind of flying around them. And it's really cool. It's it is. I love the coloring, because you have this blue coloring mixed with kind of a magenta pinkish color.
It's a little cyberpunkish in tone, right?
The coloring. Yeah, I would say that's a good representation, or a good way to put it. So I just really liked it. Tristan Journey is what her name is listed as on Instagram, at Designs by Tristan on Instagram. Go follow. She's a fantastic artist. You can just scroll down her feed and everything. Every focus that she has is really cool. She even has an older casual Rey drawing that she did. A lot of Star Wars, a lot of Marvel. I see Spider-Man, like Tom Holland Spider-Man on here, and just a bunch of different stuff. So awesome work here by Designs by Tristan on Instagram. Well done. So our next image here, number 3 on the list, or is it number 4 on the list? Number 4 on the list is from at Chevy Tuhu. And I know that Chevy Tuhu has made the top 5 before. And it's a really cool shot here. It's definitely of a, based off of The Mandalorian. So what we see is a bunch of Imperial Remnant stormtroopers standing around in a canyon, all of them very well weathered. But then in the background, at the top of the cliff, very in a non-focused part of the image, you see Mando standing there with his pistol drawn.
Oh yeah,
aiming at these stormtroopers, which I thought was
that's the magic to this shot. I mean, first off, I love how organic it looks. I mean, this is about as natural as it gets. Like no bullshit, no fucking atmosphere aerosol, no fucking smoke. It's just like Chevy went out, set these motherfuckers up, and shot. Second, it's the perspective of the shot. It's the angle. It's having the Mando feel like he really is way, way up there in Star Wars land on what we like to call the high ground, right?
Yes.
And I just love that he's out of focus, but he's still kind of the main focus of the shot. And I think that's what I appreciate the most, is like typically the in focus character, this trooper up here in the bottom right, Yeah, that's where your eye is going to naturally go because that is the focal point. But the way Chevy kind of has this angle going here, the perspective overall, the Mando is still the star of the shot, and that's what I like the most.
Yeah, exactly. It's very creative use of the environment that he was shooting in. It was very good use of the posing and then just the composition of the shot. Like to know that your overall goal is to, yes, get these troopers in focus at the bottom, but to showcase Mando at the top. And then also just to be able to see, like, even through the blur, like, you see what he's doing. You see he has the gun drawn, pointed down at his quarry. So actually, absolutely excellent shot. At Chevy, the number 2, who on Instagram. Beautiful work.
Who are you? Who? When the fuck is my mic gonna blow up?
Hopefully
fuck
not
it.
soon. Because now we're getting into our number 5, and there's only one more after that, and that is the Matt Haywood top 1.
Yeah.
So for our number 5 of the week, we have another brand new entrant into the top 5. So this is a bunch of new people in our top 5 this week.
Look at you.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You're like Oprah, man. You're like, you get a top 5. You get a top 5. You get a top 5. Greg, you don't get a top 5.
You do not.
You get a top 5.
When it comes
and Lego
to
Trooper 89, you get a top 5.
Yes, at Lego Trooper _89 here, and he sticks true to his name because his shot is of Lego Troopers, and God, man, like. It's just with shots like this. So from people
kind of hit you, right?
It does.
You almost get the feels from literally 2 Phase 1 clone Lego minifigs.
Yeah, I mean, that is what people like. 0300700. Like he uses Legos a lot. Lego Star Wars Tom, the Sith Lord Lego. Like all these people who use Legos to really bring out the Star Wars emotion. Like when I see it, I'm just blown away. So that's what we see. We see 2 Phase 1 clone troopers, one on the ground, prone, his head propped up by his friend. And then his friend is just leaning over his body, looking at him. Their hands are clasped as much as they can be as Legos.
God. It is. I mean, this is like true art right here, man. Like, this is something you want to throw up on your wall. I mean, it is because it makes you laugh, but you're laughing because of how damn cute it is.
It is. It's like it's so
real.
cute.
Like that's some real emotion right there coming out of these little basic minifigs. I mean, it's the tricks I've seen that some of these Lego photographers do, where they. The head's not really even on. It's just kind of laying there. It's on with putty. His arm is outstretched like that because I'm assuming the arm is popped out of the socket and there's some putty there to allow it to do it. But by doing that, it really gives the minifigs a feeling of being alive. And you really do sense that this clone is just devastated that he's lost one of his brothers in battle. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's really incredible. Like, and this is, we always talk about the lack of posability with certain figures. I mean, you can't get much less posability than a fucking Lego. Like, so the fact that
that's
Lego
what I mean. These guys have figured
out
out ways, and girls that like they'll either break the joints out or use putty and just tilt stuff on. I love it. I mean, I'm sitting here going like, I have at this point about $1,000 worth of Star Wars Legos upstairs right now. I mean, the fucking Death Star set, Bespin set, and literally sets with scenes already built. I've got so many fucking minifigs now. I could become a full-time Lego photographer, but now I'm intimidated because of shit like this.
Yeah, I mean,
and
this is
again using shit in the greatest sense that shit can be used while describing Lego Trooper 89 shot here.
Yeah, and even his quote. I mean, his quote is just the Plato quote. Only the dead have seen the end of war. What a fucking just meaningful dagger that is.
Some beautiful Lego stuff right here, my friends. I mean,
so
unreal. I mean, the pure art right here.
Yeah. At Lego Trooper _89 on Instagram. Go give him a follow. Absolutely fantastic work here. And that brings us to the end of the Nick top 5 of the week. So it is time for the Matt Haywood top 1 of the week.
Damn Skippy. That's right. every other week right here on the SWTS, or as long as my mic will function. So I'm using this opportunity that Nick gives me every other week to pick somebody to talk about as a way to kind of pay tributes to some of the toy photographers, artists out there that I just personally either look up to or just love seeing when they drop new content, because I know it's going to be great and it's going to have kind of their style stamped on it. So this week, it is none other than at Rebel Jawa. I think Dan, if you know him. He was featured in the episode 9 celebration vid with Sir Dork back in 2019. He's done some official Disney photography, in particular Funko Pop photography for Frozen 2 for Disney. So Dan's kind of gotten a few opportunities out of this hobby, but in particular I want to talk about this shot right here. He's released recently of one of my favorite characters now, and that is the Rampo version of C-3PO. But the shot is more or less kind of portraying the character as he appears in TROS. We all know he gets loaded up with all Chewie's gear, so Rey can go fuck around and fight Kylo eventually. But what I want to say, I mean, it's just this shot. I really could have picked any shot from Dan recently at Rebel Jawa. He has a look, Nick, and I think it's a credit to his lighting skills, but all of his shots to me are what we like to call crisp and clean.
Yes.
Crisp and clean. Like, he doesn't do too much fuckery, crazy posing or wires or this, that, and the other thing. So kind of like how I like to do things, but even better than that, like he has a style. And I'm having a hard time explaining what it is, but it really is. It's just all the shots look slick. They're crisp. They're nice and sharp looking. The color grading's nice. The tone's always well done. But again, this shot, how can you not love Goldenrod standing there with a bowcaster, a bow staff, and a Wookiee-sized sack across his chest, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic shot. Even the motion blur that he put on BB-8 and Dio, showing them rolling into action.
Right. It's just enough. Like it's not so much that you're distracted by it, but it's enough that they are moving. And it just, I don't know, man. It's like I said, if you pull up his account, all his shots just have a style to them.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Rebel Dan was featured recently in the standard top 5 for one of the Rey and Palpatine shots that he threw up a few weeks ago. But yeah, man, I mean, all of his shots, they just feel clean, and they feel just, like you said, the lighting, the color grading in terms of, just how the figures look, the posing, everything about it is just really well executed and very aesthetically pleasing to look at. I mean, that is, the one of Palpatine on his throne. I mean, I don't know if that is like a specific throne dio that's now for sale.
Oh no, he's had that built. Someone carved that up for him.
I mean, that is just excellent work, and you can, scroll down his feed, whether it be Funko Pops or anything else. Like, he does some fantastic work here. So yeah, I mean,
he's always just taking really good shots using these space walls and that indoor setup. I've always liked. I mean, Dan's one of the Rebel Jawas, one of the first people I reached out to when I got into this hobby. Like, hey, that looks cool. What do you do? Blah blah blah. He kind of showed me like, oh, hey, you can use backgrounds on the computer, this, that, and the other thing, and that led into me checking out work more or less, because I think that's where Rebel Jawa picked up that stuff. So. I've actually been trying to get him on the show to interview, and he was lined up for March, but then we were going to do our buddy Jesse, and then all this shit happened, so who the fuck knows what's going on. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, but once we get kind of schedules figured out, we'll definitely be talking to Rebel Jawa, just because I appreciate his work. He's had some cool experiences through the toy photography stuff. Obviously a huge Star Wars fan, but just back to this Rampo shot. It's nice and clean, well done, good lighting, even the nice touch with C-3PO's eyes, to kind of give him that
Brighten them
that
up.
iconic glow that we know his eyes to have. So that is Rebel_Jawa, Dan Sparks. He's out there on Instagram. Check him out. If you like Star Wars fan art, toy photography, he's a good follow.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the end of the top 5.
All right.
for
Holy
Nick
shit, man.
And the
I
Matt
feel like
Haywood top 1.
I feel like we've been doing this episode for about 6 hours because
3.
of my shitty ass equipment. So rather than face the prospects of it shitting the bed yet again, I think we kind of end things right now. And I got to figure out my issues. Hopefully they don't return for next week. But until then, I'll do some troubleshooting, or I won't. We'll see what happens. But you know what all of you need to do? You need to get out and talk about the Star Wars Time Show. And I'm not talking about outside, you motherfuckers. I'm talking about inside, out, online. Share it up, StarWarsTime.net. Say, hey, guys, you're on a Zoom? You guys ever see this shit? Look at these idiots. They talk about Star Wars once a week. It's somewhat entertaining. Even when it's not entertaining, it's still better than listening to your family members in quarantine. All right? So StarWarsTime.net, that's all you need to know. They can get their whatever platform they want. Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn even. We're all over the place. YouTube. Hell, on StarWarsTime.net itself, you can listen to the damn show. There's no excuses. Let's go. Get the numbers up. We're all inside for another month. Probably another month on top of that. Pump up the volume. Star Wars Time Show. StarWarsTime.net. All right, my friends, there is always time for Star Wars Time. Always. Don't forget that shit. Tell your aunt. Tell your grandma. Because if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you. Always.